Howdy y'all, it's Ryan from RNA Music, your mom and pop guitar shop, deep in the heart of Texas. That's where I'm at right now. Somebody's texting me. It's just Benjamin. I thought I would do a fun, quick comparison video today and compare the Schecter E1 Custom and a Gibson Explorer. Yeah, very similar guitars in a couple of regards. Look at that. So pretty. I love this body shape. But with a few differences. So if you're ever curious about the difference between the Schecter E1 and the Gibson Explorer, we're about to find out. First, let's start with the similarities, all right? So they kind of have this very similar kind of offset body shape. The E1 does have these cool little contours that maybe harken back to a little bit like an Iceman or Destroyer kind of body shape. These little extra contours that the Gibson doesn't have. But the body shapes are very comfortable. If you're used to this, you know, this will feel comfortable too as far as the way the body's made. They both have mahogany necks, mahogany bodies. The E1 Custom does have a quilted maple top. Now it does have binding on it, which is nice, which the Explorer doesn't have. But it's kind of hard to tell if it's just a veneer or if it's an actual quilt top. I'm willing to bet that it's probably a veneer, but it is very beautiful and looks great. This one, I actually had my good friend Pete from Rosebud Guitars make me a custom plexiglass pickguard so you can actually see the lovely quilt on this guitar. On this Explorer also has a custom pickguard. This is actually from John Ness, Brain Banana. He makes custom diamond plate and steel pickguards. This is real black diamond plate. So custom pick guards on both, that's kind of fun. So now for a few differences. Fretboards, rosewood over here, ebony over here. Now I don't know in the new Gibson Explorers what they're gonna do with, you know, because the rosewood's a situation now. But, you know, this is an older Explorer, so it has the rosewood. As far as frets go, this has got extra jumbo frets. The Gibson has medium frets, which you can definitely feel the difference there when you're playing it. So medium frets, extra jumbos. Got binding on the neck and on the body here, no binding over here. Mother of pearl blocks, dots over here. I like blocks personally. I think aesthetically the blocks are very pleasing to me. Gibson, non-locking tuners. Schecter, locking tuners. So that's kind of a plus over here. Pickups are different. You know, the Gibson, you've got the Gibson 496 and 500T. Those are pretty hot pickups. The E1 Custom does have USA pickups. They're Schecter USA pickups. It's got the Sunset Strip pickup in the bridge and the Pasadena in the neck. So these are custom shop USA pickups from Schecter. Gibson pickups over here. fairly comparable. Schecter might be a hair heavier, but pretty close. Let's talk about the fretboard radius for a second. The Gibson, I believe, to my research, is a 12-inch radius on the fretboard, which is fairly common to almost all Gibsons. And the Schecter E1 Custom actually has a compound radius, which is pretty cool. It goes from a 12 to a 16 compound radius, so that's kind of sweet. Now, the neck, the way it feels, the Schecter has what Schecter calls a thin C neck, and then the Explorer has the 60s slim taper neck. The Gibson is definitely a thinner neck. The thin C that Schecter uses feels a bit thicker and beefier than the Gibson Explorer. Now, it's not a thick, beefy neck, so don't get confused with that, but it definitely feels a little bit thicker than the slim taper 60s. I don't know if it's supposed to or not, but to my hands, the Schecter neck is a little more substantial, I think. But we also have extra jumbo frets versus medium frets here, so that might have a little bit to do with the feel of the necks. Pricing wise, brand new, the E1 sits right around about, I think, $8.99, I believe. Street price for that. For a Gibson Explorer, these generally nowadays sit right around $1,200. So, you know, there's about a $300 to $400 difference in price range depending on where you buy it and where you find them, of course. Oh yeah, one more thing. The E1 has this lovely volute right here, which I love that on guitars. It's a little bit extra beef right there in the neck. I think should help with stability and, you know, breakage. The Explorer, of course, this is an old one. Of course, it does not have a volute. So there's just a quick overview of some comparisons and differences between the E1 Custom and the Gibson Explorer. Now, I think the E1 Standard that Schecter makes is probably almost exactly identical to the Gibson Explorer. You know, the Standard comes with just mahogany body, it comes in black, you know, it's just a basic model with dots. Now that one's probably going to be much closer to this, and pricing wise it's actually a lot less than this. Those come in around, I want to say about $650 to $700. I need to double check those prices, but I do believe the E1 Standard from Schecter is about $650. So I can't wait to get one of those in the shop. I'm looking forward to getting the E1 Standard in, and then we'll compare it, of course, to the Explorer, which should be a much more direct comparison. And then pricing wise, you know, the E1 Standard is about half the cost of Gibson Explorer. Now, of course, let's talk about country of origin, okay? Gibson Explorer, made in the USA, E1 Custom, and I believe the E1 Standard, both made in South Korea. So there are differences in manufacture. Fit and finish, you know, the Schecter stuff is great. I've not actually, don't believe I've ever had a problem with any Schecter that's ever come into R&A music. So it's nice and tidy, the fretwork is good. Just beautiful finish on it. This Gibson is an older one, so it's got quite a lot of dings and dents and wear and play on it. But it's in good shape. This Gibson in particular is mine, and it's an older one. It's a 91 model, which I believe they called this was the 76 reissue back then. And from what I've read, the early 90 Explorers are really quite well made and kind of in demand. And now this one, it's unfair to judge because it is, I've had it a long time, played it a lot. It's got dings and dents and things. The frets are still good. They don't have any sprout on the edges. The frets have worn, of course, over 20 years. But overall, you know, this was a great guitar back when I got it in the early 90s. So comparing to this one is a little tricky, and I don't have access to a brand new Gibson Explorer because I'm not a Gibson dealer. And probably, I don't know if I ever will be. You know, it's tough for smaller independent mom and pop shops to carry Gibson because their buying requirements are pretty significant. Schecter, of course, is a little bit different story. It's a little bit easier to get into if you're a mom and pop independent guitar store. It's a little bit easier to become a Schecter dealer than a Gibson dealer. But anyway, just a quick comparison. There's some differences between these two guitars. Now, throughout this video, I'm sure you've seen some playing samples back and forth between the two. I have no idea yet in what the finished quality is going to sound like. Definitely different pickups. To me, the Gibson pickups definitely sound hotter than the Schecter ones do. I'm sure I'll be able to tell a difference back on the recorded audio. I did mic both these up, so the audio from the guitars was recorded the Mesa Boogie Dual Rec, Presonus audio box with the SM57. But I could definitely hear a difference, but you know, they say, you know, different pickups can make a really significant difference in the sound of the guitars. Both great guitars. They very similar in a lot of ways, but there are a few differences. I do think the Schecter neck just a hair chunkier than the 60s slim taper of the Gibson. Not a chunky neck, but a little bit chunkier than this. The compound fretboard radius is a pretty nice feature on the Schecter that you don't really get on the Gibson. So anyways, this was just a quick and dirty comparison because I thought it'd be kind of fun to shoot them out and compare them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me your thoughts below on what you thought about the differences between the two guitars, and which one do you think you liked better? Just let me know. Thank you guys so much, I really appreciate it. If this is your first time watching an RNA music video, please like and subscribe if you liked it and if you want to see more. If you don't, then of course you don't have to, but leave us a little comment. We do enjoy reading the comments and getting some feedback from all you guys and girls out there. Thank you so much. Keep the music alive. The music needs you, and we need the music, and we need to keep the music alive for this younger generation of players coming up. Let's keep it positive for them. Let's encourage them. Let's make sure this next batch of youngsters coming up sticks with guitar and sticks with music. See you guys later.